Chapter 1: The Boy with the Golden Heart. In the charming village of Everbrook, nestled between rolling hills and vibrant meadows, lived a boy named Leo. From the day he was born, Leo seemed to possess a magical quality that endeared him to everyone. With sparkling blue eyes and an infectious smile, he had a way of making people feel special. His parents, Emma and Thomas, were as kind-hearted as he was, always ready to lend a hand to their neighbors. Leo's days were filled with joy and purpose. Every morning, he would rise with the sun, eager to greet the day and find ways to help others. Whether it was assisting the elderly Mrs. Thompson with her garden, playing with the younger children, or helping Mr. Riley repair his old bicycle, Leo's presence brought warmth and happiness to the village. Leo's kindness was not a passing phase, but a deep-seated trait that seemed to grow stronger with each passing year. As a toddler, he would toddle over to the neighboring houses, bringing flowers he had picked from his mother's garden or sharing cookies he had helped bake. As he grew older, his acts of kindness became more intentional and thoughtful. He would sit with Mr. Jenkins, the village blacksmith, and listen to his stories from long ago, knowing that the old man loved to share his tales but had few to listen. Every Saturday morning, Leo and his parents would visit the village market. The market was a bustling place, with vendors selling fresh produce, baked goods, and handmade crafts. Leo loved the market, not just for the sights and smells, but for the opportunity to help. He would carry heavy baskets for the elderly, watch the stalls for vendors who needed a break, and entertain restless children with his stories and games. One particular summer morning, as Leo was strolling through the village square, he noticed a commotion near the fountain. A crowd had gathered around a small girl who was crying inconsolably. Her name was Lily, and she had lost her beloved kitten, Whiskers. Without hesitation, Leo approached her and knelt down. "Don't worry, Lily. We'll find Whiskers together," he said with a reassuring smile. Lily looked up at Leo with tear-filled eyes and nodded. The sight of the distraught little girl tugged at Leo's heart, and he was determined to find her kitten. The villagers watched as Leo and Lily began their search. They looked high and low, asking everyone they met if they had seen the kitten. Leo's determination and positivity were contagious, and soon the entire village was involved in the search. Leo's methodical approach and calming presence were a testament to his maturity beyond his years. He organized the search into groups, assigning each a different section of the village. Some searched the dense bushes in the park, while others checked the nooks and crannies of the old stone buildings that lined the main street. As they searched, Leo comforted Lily, telling her stories about adventurous kittens who always found their way home. Hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over Everbrook. Just as hope was starting to fade, they heard a faint meow from a nearby tree. There, perched on a branch, was Whiskers. The kitten was clinging to the branch, looking down at the ground nervously. Leo knew he had to act quickly but carefully. He climbed the tree with the agility of a young squirrel, his movements sure and steady. When he reached Whiskers, he gently coaxed the frightened kitten into his arms and made his way back down. When Leo handed Whiskers to Lily, the look of sheer joy and relief on her face was priceless. She hugged her kitten tightly, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you, Leo," she exclaimed, her voice filled with gratitude and awe. The villagers cheered, applauding Leo's heroic efforts. His parents, Emma and Thomas, who had been watching from a distance, beamed with pride. They knew their son's kindness and selflessness were extraordinary, and they were committed to nurturing these qualities. They often spoke to Leo about the importance of empathy, compassion, and community, reinforcing the values that he naturally embodied. Emma would tell Leo bedtime stories of great heroes, emphasizing that true heroism came from helping others and making a positive impact. Thomas would take Leo on walks through the village, pointing out acts of kindness and explaining how each one contributed to the well-being of their community. They encouraged Leo to always look for opportunities to help, no matter how small the act might seem. Leo's influence spread beyond simple acts of kindness. He inspired others to be more generous and considerate. Children who once quarreled over toys now shared willingly, inspired by Leo's example. Adults who were too busy with their own lives began to notice the needs of their neighbors. The village of Everbrook thrived, bound together by the spirit of community and the power of kindness. As the sun set over Everbrook that day, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Leo sat with his parents by the fireplace. The warm glow of the fire mirrored the warmth in their hearts. Leo's parents knew that their son was destined for great things, not because he would achieve fame or fortune, but because he had a heart that could change the world. And so, in the village of Everbrook, the boy with the golden heart continued to touch lives and spread joy, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness could create ripples of happiness that would last a lifetime. Chapter 2: A Heartfelt Reward. As the seasons changed, so did the needs of the village. Winter arrived, bringing with it a blanket of snow and freezing temperatures. The once green meadows were now cloaked in white, and the village of Everbrook seemed to sparkle under the pale winter sun. Despite the cold, Leo remained undeterred in his mission to help others. He saw the arrival of winter as an opportunity to bring even more warmth and comfort to those around him. Leo's first priority was ensuring that everyone in Everbrook had enough firewood to keep their homes warm. He organized a group of villagers to gather firewood for those who couldn't do it themselves. Every morning, Leo and his team would set out into the nearby woods, braving the icy winds and deep snow. They chopped wood, bundled it up, and delivered it to the homes of the elderly, the sick, and anyone else in need. Leo's leadership and dedication inspired the villagers to work together, creating a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. In addition to gathering firewood, Leo also made sure that everyone had warm meals and blankets. He would spend his evenings in the kitchen with his mother, Emma, preparing hearty stews and baking bread. They would then deliver the food to their neighbors, making sure no one went to bed hungry. Leo also coordinated a village-wide effort to knit and collect blankets. The community came together, with everyone contributing in any way they could. Some donated wool, others knitted, and still others helped distribute the finished blankets. One particularly harsh day, as the wind howled through the village and snowflakes danced in the air, a traveler named Mr. Carter arrived in Everbrook. He was a weary-looking man, shivering in his thin coat, his face etched with exhaustion. Leo spotted him from a distance and quickly approached. "Hello, sir. You look cold and hungry. Come with me and my parents and I will take care of you," Leo said, his voice filled with compassion. Mr. Carter, grateful and visibly relieved, accepted the boy's offer. When they arrived at Leo's home, Emma and Thomas welcomed him warmly. They gave him a hot meal and a place to rest by the fire. The warmth of the home and the kindness of the family melted the chill from Mr. Carter's bones. As they chatted, Mr. Carter revealed that he was a merchant who had lost his way in the storm. "You and your family have shown me such kindness," Mr. Carter said, his eyes glistening with tears of gratitude. "I must repay you." Emma and Thomas shook their heads. "Your gratitude is enough." "Leo has taught us that helping others is its own reward," Thomas replied. Mr. Carter stayed in the village for a few days, during which he witnessed firsthand the extraordinary impact Leo had on Everbrook. He saw how the boy's kindness and leadership had brought the community together, making everyone feel cared for and valued. The sense of unity and warmth in Everbrook was palpable, even in the coldest of winter days. When it was time for Mr. Carter to leave, he called for a village meeting. The villagers gathered in the town square, curious about what the traveler had to say. Standing before the gathered crowd, Mr. Carter spoke with conviction. "Leo has a heart of gold, and his kindness has touched my soul. As a token of my gratitude, I would like to donate a sum of money to build a community center here in Everbrook. A place where everyone can gather, share, and support one another, just as Leo has done for me and so many others." The villagers erupted in applause, their faces lighting up with joy and excitement. Tears of happiness filled Leo's eyes as he realized the magnitude of Mr. Carter's generosity. He hugged Mr. Carter tightly, overwhelmed by the recognition of his efforts and the promise of a new place for the community to come together. Construction of the community center began almost immediately. The villagers, inspired by Leo and Mr. Carter's generosity, worked together to build the center. Each person contributed in their own way. Some provided materials, others offered their labor, and still others helped with planning and organizing. Leo, of course, was at the heart of it all, coordinating efforts, lending a hand wherever needed, and always encouraging his neighbors with his infectious smile and positive attitude. The community center was built in record time, and it became the heart of Everbrook. It was a warm, welcoming space with a large hall for gatherings, a library, and smaller rooms for meetings and activities. The center hosted events, workshops, and celebrations, becoming a hub of activity and a symbol of the village's unity and strength. The impact of the community center on Everbrook was profound. It provided a place for people to connect, share resources, and support one another. It fostered a sense of belonging and pride in the village, and it became a testament to the power of kindness and the extraordinary impact one person can have. Leo's legacy continued to inspire generations, and the village thrived, united by the love and compassion that he, his parents, and the entire community embodied. Leo continued his acts of kindness, always looking for ways to help others and improve his village. He organized educational programs for children, skill-sharing workshops for adults, and social events that brought everyone together. The community center became a place where dreams were nurtured, ideas were born, and lives were enriched. In Everbrook, the boy with the golden heart had shown everyone that true wealth was measured not by what one had, but by what one gave to others. His selflessness and generosity created a ripple effect of kindness that spread far beyond the village, touching the lives of everyone who heard his story. The community center stood as a lasting tribute to Leo's spirit, a place where his legacy of love and compassion would endure for generations to come. And so, in the village of Everbrook, the spirit of kindness flourished, proving that even the smallest acts of generosity could change the world. The villagers knew that their strength lay in their unity and their ability to care for one another, and they carried this lesson with them in everything they did. Leo's story became a beacon of hope and inspiration, reminding everyone that true greatness comes from the heart.